Today's video, I'm going to just be going over some tips and talking about the platform Breakout prop firm that I've been using for a little over a year now. It says some different data here because they just updated their dashboard, so it says that I've only been a trader since May 30th, 2025, which ain't accurate because I even have a certificate here that says that I also passed one on the April 15th and then another one May 12th. So, and then I do have a payout certificate on this one of 1,260. On my last one, I had a payout of a little over 10,000, and somewhere I have proof of that. But today, I'm just going to be kind of going over some of the data. This was the eval that I had passed. If you can hear the train in the background, I apologize for that. I live right next to a train track at the moment, so you might be hearing some background noise, but just so happened to go by right at the beginning of this video, so it's all right. So this was the passing eval that I did, and I think overall I've passed my first three that I ever did was back in October 2024, and I had failed them. My 10K one, failed it, was just trying to start small and practice with just getting used to the platform, failed another 10K one. Then I actually ended up passing a 50K one, but breached before I could pull any profit. And that was all in the same month, and that was kind of devastating. And I'm sure a lot of you have been through the same situation where you're heard about this great platform and you've seen people pull out huge payouts and you're like, I want to get a piece of that and try it. I've been trading since 2020, so I definitely was interested in this platform when I first heard about it, because I was like, what, I can pay like a few $100 and get access to hundreds of thousands or whatever. And so I was definitely interested. Then on my next one, I ended up just going all out with a 100K account, passed it, and ended up getting a $10,000 payout, and that was around the election time for Trump, and made some good money there, and then just almost immediately just went right through it, like because I missed like a good pump and for whatever reason was trying to short and just kept blowing through because I was in this high on like the emotions, on like euphoria, where I'd like just made a huge payout and then was like, oh, I'm overly confident, and I didn't have the lessons that I have now, where I was just like after a win, you just take smaller trades, right? Because you know those losses are coming. And so after going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more accounts since then, I took a few months off. You can see here from November, the end of November, it took all of December off, all of January, and most of February before I even got another account. Just immediately breached my first 100K account, didn't get a payout, and then passed my next one. That felt really good, but then immediately breached it, which didn't feel good because I really had needed some money then too, and so that was kind of devastating. Bought another one, 100K, breached it, didn't pass, no payout. Got 100K, passed, and it's still active, and I've pulled 1260 out of it so far in this month. And so total, I've spent $7,560, but I've made 11,504. So I'm up 3,944 total on my investment. And I absolutely love Breakout. They're really consistent on their rules. They did just recently change their pricing. It used to be 880, as you've seen from my notes here. It was 880 with the 90-10 split, and now they're 1,000. And then with the 90-10 split, it's actually it's actually 1100. So, and I don't do the breach insurance. I don't understand that yet. Some people use it. I don't use it. I don't even mess with any of the other smaller accounts. I think it's just only for practice, people that don't know how to trade. And then same with the two-step. I really just don't do it. And I think their two-step 100K is still the same price. Yeah, 800. So, but there just comes with different rules, and I don't, I don't do those rules. So I like the 90-10 split. I'm gonna get me a second account here soon and just do that. So this is their platform. I love, since they've added now the trading view progression on it, it's been pretty nice. When I started off this funded account though, I did take some pretty good hits. That was like the 25th. It was on the 12th, sorry. And so it took me a couple trades to get out from underwater. It was like 3,000 underwater, and then I did like bring it back up with this trade, closed it, opened a few more, brought it back to break even right here. And then with this trade is where I made some good profit on my payout. I realized my sweet spot for my trades is $2,500. So anytime I'm up 2,500, it's an immediate, just close it out, easy peasy. Even 1,000, that's a good amount. And I really am trying to be consistent with just using on this 100K account. I just use one lot, like on each trade. And here I did do like 2 lots when I was like really confident, but I try not to use anything more than that. And then I just went almost immediately right into like a losing streak, just like few hundred at a time. But I was pretty consistent with like my sell losses, here and there, instead of taking those big hits. This one, I think I like set it somewhere in the middle of the night and just lost it, and lost a big trade. But I started to make it back like little by little. It was just like few hundred here and there, and then just smaller losses. Had some good wins here. Some losses, another good win here, some losses. Then my losses started getting small. My wins were getting small. My account just got underwater, so I was forced to just start taking smaller trades. And then I did start trading ETH, as you see at the very beginning. I've been trading Bitcoin for the last 5 years very consistently. I don't trade anything else. And then I did some research and found that ETH was a little bit more consistent. There's 2 sold trades there I tried and just immediately said nope. But ETH is a little bit more structurally respects structure and daily VWAPs and DPOC, and just price action's a little bit different. It's less volatile, so where I can still make some money. I've just been doing really, really small trades to practice with it to get my account back. As you see, I'm still only 49 away from like breaching, and which is not what I'm here to brag about. I'm here to kind of just talk about some of the things I've done to keep this account, where I did have this account all the way down to $3 away from breach. I got it back up to 94,888, so I was almost 1,000 back up. And then where I had messed up was I started to take like these bigger sell losses again, where I was just opening too big of trades, and when my account wasn't back above water yet, which I've been in recovery mode, where I've just been in taking these 0.1, 0.05, 0.1 like trades, and then I just took too big a leaps trying to get because I had my confidence back, and then I started to lose pretty heavy. So I started to just kind of play around with the idea of taking these smaller trades, and while still sticking to some of my old rules that I have. So I brought it back yesterday. I was $5 away from breach, and then I had these two $20 wins here and brought me back up to 49. So I've just kind of been staying out of the market right now because it's doing this whipsaw kind of break a structure here, and even on Bitcoin, let's see, even on Bitcoin, it's just been annihilating everybody. I just started recently using the order blocks. I've heard of order blocks, but I didn't ever really do much research on them. So I found this new indicator that was like giving me fair value gap spots where there was like liquidity voids where I used to try to draw out my own, and that was time consuming. Then there was this volumized order blocks that was actually really was showing me the volume of buy or sell orders in very specific points. So, and I studied how to read those and on like different time frames. And so then, it shows here 151 million sell orders, right? And in this block here, and you can see them on different time frames. And so it would tell you like, okay, if price came back up into that area, it would likely be sold back into because there's a stack of sell orders here. And that was just info that I didn't have before, which is really good info. So then a couple other websites that I've been utilizing that's new now is this CoinGlass Legend. They actually have like a live liquidation area that shows like where there's liquidity sitting, and also buy volume, or buy orders down. So then we're likely to probably continue down here to these areas here where there's a lot of buy orders sitting and liquidations. And we came right up to this liquidation area here at 20. That's why there was so much. Before, there was a big red volume candle like that was sticking way out here, where before it got hit, you could see we were coming up to it, and then it spiked right up to it, and then every time we've come up, we've just been being sold into because it's just that time of the season. And then so also with this one, it's similar. I have Fibonacci grid set up on here to kind of show where there's resting support or resistance, and it shows like the Monday's high and low. It shows the order book volume, and I have mine set up to where you can see like large orders or turn it down to see all the small orders. But I just have mine set up for large orders so I can see when smart money is starting to come in, or manipulated money like market makers will sit in here and they'll just push the price down. You start seeing like these 2.7s or $5 million buy orders, $10 million buy orders. It's usually when the markets are just being manipulated down. And another one, you just go to Bitcoin, you look at it on the 12-hour, you look at it on the 1 day. I look at all these too before I enter a position. This is just my technique. We see there's some 200 million volume up here at 106.3. Look at it on the 3-day. We got 500 million at 109.5. So I expect a short squeeze up here pretty soon to 109.5 before we slam back down, because I think on the 1 week there was more volume downside. 2 week. We might have already swept it. It was at like 102. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we already swept. We came down and swept 900 million, a billion. There was a billion of liquidity down here at 105, thanks to that James Wynn guy that everyone's been following on X the last week. His positions just, I don't know if that guy's a psyop or what. And I don't know what smart whale would like be posting their positions and liquidation prices like that on live on X and then get that much attention, but not smart. I didn't follow his trade, so I just been kind of playing small, and staying out of big swings. Um, and then you got the crypto fear index. It's kind of coming down. We were just up here in this greedy area. Right when we hit all-time highs, we were at 76. And then I was not trying to short for some reason at 112 because I thought we were going to hit 113 and then slam back down. And was kind of on me. There's this major trend line on the high time frame where every time we've bounced off this, we've go on the weekly. Where are we at? There we go. Every time we've bounced off this trend line. Oh god. Son of a bitch. It tanked, came up, tanked, came up, tanked, retested it, tanked, and now it looks like it's doing similar. Came up. I thought we were gonna really hit it. I thought we were, and that's at like 113, 113.5. Look at it on the 4 hour. I was like, oh, one more leg up right here. I was like, oh, it's gonna come up right here and then slam down. Nope, they front ran it, and it's just been going, and then we had this break of structure on this high time frame support that it's been an uptrend every time we 1, 2, 3 touched it, came down here. I bet a lot of people tried to long this right in this gap on the true month and came up, and then they slammed it right back down, then came up and slammed it right back down, and then just said fuck it, sending it down into this liquidity void. And there's 853 million buy orders here, so it's going to take a lot of sell pressure to bust through this. We could still see, they'll run it all the way to the edge if they have to, 102, which I know James has a long open right now, and his liquidation price is right here, right under this order block, which is stupid. And because they'll run it down, probably smack his liquidation price and then run it back up. That dude is lost millions of dollars. He made millions of dollars, like $80 million, and then in less than a week, he just lost it again. So I don't know what that's about. I've also not done the best on my trading, but I do have some good rules. I could have been shorting here on the daily VWAP. I seen it last night. Let me see. I seen it come up. Where I had like longed right here at 25.80 on this. This is like my niche of trading. It's like I'll long these liquidity sweeps, and I got in right here, right when I seen it bounce with some volume, and it came back up. I took profit right here, sold, and then I seen it. It dipped in the middle of the night, came back down to I think right here. I opened another long and it came up, and then it hit this 26.20, sold that position completely out, just to make the $20, just trying to make little by little. And then I took, I want to say 20 or half off of this one to make sure I had 40. And then I had my sell loss here at break even. So then, and that's where you see this one right here, break even. Yep, 25.80. And I entered right here, 25.80.41. My break even sell loss hit 25.80.41. When they pushed it back down to right here, came down, hit my break even, came back up to the New York Open. New York slammed it right back down. That's what this red line is right here. Because on my this indicator day at Josh Yu, his with the true day, the true week, and the true month. The New York Open, the London Opens up here, you see the blue line. That's where like significant volume comes in, and where you're going to be able to like pinpoint your best trades, and also your bounce backs where they retest those zones like quite often. Sometimes they just leave them completely behind, and they don't come back. So it just depends on the day and the narrative and the overall just market sentiment. We're bearish right now. Looks like it's kind of doing another dip, retesting the weekly open. This is obviously Ethereum. I've just started like charting Ethereum. Obviously, I still have total market cap value here, Bitcoin dominance, ETH to Bitcoin to show the value there. And then yeah, USDT. Anytime Bitcoin dumps, USDT just skyrockets. So if you look at this on the 1 month, every time, this is USDT, every time we've touched this line, Bitcoin's hit an all-time high. And then when we hit an all-time low in November, because FTX crashing, we obviously seen very enormous amounts of USDT being bought. And then, yep, right here again, we came down January 2025 when Trump was elected. It touched the line again. And we came up because of that correction. And then I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to touch again and we were going to get another new all-time high, but it has not. It has not yet. So that's the correlation there, why I watched that one. Overall, there's a lot of, 52. That would be nuts. If we slam back down, it's possible. There's a huge 16 billion on the buy orders. On an order block down here, 52. That's wild. Yeah, and that would kind of make sense. Let me see. 68.8 was pre-election price right here. Election day right here. And yeah, straight up. That was an astronomical month. Loved it. Came up. I took some time off and let it do its thing. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. Sometimes you got to take some time off. Let it do its thing. I also have spider lines. So, and if you guys don't know, these spider lines, CryptoFace makes a YouTube video, teaches you how to set them up. I recommend setting them up on one of your charts. I have multiple different charts here set up. I do pay for TradingView Premium. It is 100% worth it. We came up and we were, see, that's another reason why I thought we were going to hit 113, 114. My target up here, because of the spider line, I thought there would be some resistance when we were, going straight up for this time, the last 3 months since April. Yeah, I thought it would be right there, but so far it's coming back down here to the spider line. You can see it on the higher time frames. Let me turn some of this stuff off so you can see it. Key levels, order blocks. Okay, so these spider lines, let me go to the weekly so you can see how I set them up. Where are we at? They are set from the top of these candles at our previous bear market low, and they go and rest on this high point right there. And they act as support and resistance when Bitcoin is going into discovery. And they work really accurately. As you see here, we came down to 74, it bounced right off the spider line perfectly. And yeah, there's been a lot of times where these spider lines are very, very accurate. Here. Anyways, you get the point. Spider lines, that's just one of my many techniques. I try to use my own lines here that mark out New York high, New York low, but I found that there's other indicators, so these are kind of pointless on today's video, so don't use them. The true month is actually really good. It's acting as a decent support right now. 104, 111 was the support. If we're going to bounce anywhere, it's going to be here. It would be great. We need to come back up, hit 109. 1095, kind of sweep some of there's some liquidity right here that is resting, I'm sure. I showed it to you already. And we just had a little bit of a break of structure. So we're just kind of trapping the bears right now, but it definitely could. We could sweep low right now. This is where we're in this like indecisiveness, like on the lower like time frame. We're in this max fucking hold indecision. That's why I set up on my indicators down here. I have fucking buy max fear, fucking hold max indecision. Can I even say fuck on YouTube? I don't know. Hope they don't flag me. Fucking sell max greed, right? So when price hits those points, you wait for some divergence. You can see it on the 4-hour. You wait for the divergence. We hit fucking sell max greed here, but the price was here. Then we pumped up higher, but we printed a higher low. Or a lower high. However, higher. Damn it, words. Lower high on the RSI. It didn't quite reach that line, but the price was higher. Same thing here. We went up, new all-time high. On the 1 day, it's interesting because we hit this. We were like way overbought, but price was way down here, and then way overbought, but price was right here. Way overbought, but price was right here, and it started to coil over. And then, it was right here is when we just seen it hit 110, 605, which is right where James Quinn had posted. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm long right here. Dumb. No smart whale buys right here at 10,000, 110,000 with divergence showing on the 1 day. That made no sense. And then it just dumped. And we're right here on this max indecision where we need to bounce and come back up, and it just continues, which would be epic. Or if this gives out and this 104 gives out, we are going to see max fear wherever that is. It could be 52, could be 82, wherever it decides. There's lines down here, 49, 44. We ain't gonna see 44. It'll probably be, we got all-time high in 2024, all-time high in 2021. There's some good support down here at 80. This would be a nice higher low. On the high time frame, high low here at 74. Be great if we catch somewhere at 92, because we break 92, where every time it's hit 92, we got bought up. We came down, hit the spider line, came back up, caught support here at 92, came up. So we really need to keep it above 92 to see it to continue higher. Otherwise, it may get nasty. We may see some nasty lows. I want to talk about some of my rules before I enter a trade. I have sticky notes on my computer that just remind me. One of my sticky notes says euphoria equals full close. Like if I'm feeling the need to screenshot it, and wanting to share it, or call the wife in here and be like, oh, come look at this, I'm up 2,000. It's a full close, easy. Don't sit there and be like, oh, it's going to continue going up, blah, 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 or continue whatever in profit, it's going to the moon. Because I did that at 107, and we'd seen a major correction. It was pretty fun, because I thought that was going to be the actual breakout when we hit this 107. We came up, came down. I entered here at right at 104, 111 or something, and then it went straight up to 107. And I was like, it's going to all-time high, and then it just immediately reversed, came all the way down to my sell loss, which was right below this wick here. And I was in disbelief that it was even going to do that. I was like, no, there's no way. It won't do that. And it did. It did do that. it created a formation that it was like the X, A, B, C, D pattern, and it just like where this was X, this was A, and then this was B, and then this was C, and then D was way up here, and it hit it. It's called a harmonic pattern, and I would draw it out. I'm not gonna draw it out right now, but I think it's right here. X, A, B, C. Fuck it, I'll draw it out. X, A, B, C, D. D was way out here. Oh, skirt, to the T. And that was the formation, right? If you enter here, and it'll hold, you know, the little shakeouts right here, but we came out. We came out up here. We didn't break, you know, the low. If this would have broke below C, then it would have invalidated it, but it didn't. It kept going up, so it just got bought up. Anyways, I slipped right here and let it just, because I was like $3,000 up in profit right here. One of the worst feelings is like nailing your entry, like right here, or is even at the bottom of this wick. I was like right here. I have to go back into my terminal. I bet I can find the exact entry. Is 103, May 18th. I'm just gonna go to it. Let's go 18th, 103. 103 right here, 103,911, and you can see it was 103. Right here on that candle, right before it went up and went up straight up. It was a perfect confirmation. Came up. The DV WAP was right here. I entered. It went just immediate. No drawdown. Went straight up. I was 3,000 in profit right here. I was so arrogant and just watched it do an immediate rejection and just slowly, I was at 2,000 here, 1,000, 500, then it just chop, and chop, came down, hit my sell loss, and yeah, I was in such disbelief. I took I moved my sell loss, which was a mistake. So you don't move your sell loss. That's one of my rules I want to talk to you about. Because I was like, oh, if the market's gonna have to break structure to stop me out, and it absolutely did. And that was before this pattern had created, and then I watched it do this and double bottom, and then came up, created B. Anyways. I want to talk to you about some of my rules. So before I enter, I find out what the trend is. Trend is your friend. That's number one rule. It's been down. It's been since we hit, this is ETH. I can just go to Bitcoin. Sometimes I grab the wrong spot. I have the spider line set up here on my Bitcoin chart, so I can, Jesus Christ, I can see what I need to. And okay, with the support here, right, it bounced off there, and once we lost this, it's just been going down. We had a little bit more support here on this spider line, and then once we lost that, we came down to this one, lost that. It's just tanking. I don't know where the next spider line is. It's down there. Probably going to see some 101 here soon. I'm not in a trade right now because it's been doing this chop as it falls, and I just not playing with it. Wanting it to find a base, and then with confirmation, come back up. It'll come up sooner or later, and then I'll be trading that. So my next rule is, like, do you see a setup? And like an A++ setup, like where you're confident in that setup, where you've taken that setup 100 times or 1,000 times, and you know it's going to be successful. Like whether it's a bounce off of a resistance line or a breakout of a 15-minute downtrend and it breaks out and you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait for the confirmation candle. Right here we seen it was in a downtrend. We came back up, broke out. I waited for this candle to form and close and show some volume, and I entered here and seen some pretty good volume on that and took some profit on there, and that's where I think I made my 2,500. And then my actual payout was, you can see my win ratio right now is not that good. I am working on getting that up, and yeah, I've definitely been pretty close to breaching this one, but I'm doing everything I can to keep this one. So I'm just doing little trades. My certificates, I was funded there, still funded, my payout. I had $2,400 win, but I left $1,000 buffer in my account to like leave, because I didn't want to like zero it down to 100K, and then sorry, there's some homeless person outside my window yelling. People are crazy. So then I only pulled out the 1260 to leave myself $1,000 buffer in there. I don't really align with that. I should have pulled out all of it, because what that did was I really ended up just like losing it anyways, because I didn't have a good strategy that kept me from going below that. I thought that $1,100 or $1,000 would leave me enough room to trade with, and it didn't. I ended up losing it, and when that would have been helpful to just have that $1,000 anyways. Okay, here we go. There's a spider line. I'm on the 30-minute. So these spider lines will move depending on just a little bit what time frame you're looking at, but they're there when you set them up. So there's some support down here at 103. We could see that next. And then if I check, it just depends. That's why if I don't see a setup, I won't take it. So my rule number 3 I have is visualize your trade winning. So that's important. Like for like any winning trade, you need to be able to like see and predict like, oh, like it's gonna bounce here and come up to here or whatever. Like there isn't really a lot of consistencies, but you'll know on like the shorter time frame that like, oh, because I even made a short little scalp here where I knew it was gonna bounce on this and come up just a little bit. So I made some short profits there. So you got to be able to visualize like what it's gonna do, and then just executing it and not overthink, and just take the profit when you're up. That's so important. No trader ever went broke taking profit. Wait for your confirmation candle. That is an important part. Sometimes the market doesn't really give you a chance. It just volume. Sometimes you get a confirmation and then it just dumps back down, and so that's annoying. Overall, you want to be 100% confident. That's my 5th rule. It's just like being confident in the trade. If you're not confident in the trade, then don't take the trade. Just don't even, like if you're not in the right headspace and you've lost 2 or 3 trades in a row, then just don't take it. Just wait, and I lost a few here, boom, boom, and then won a few, boom, boom, and I had to like step away, take a walk, take a shower, eat some food, just take care of yourself before anything. That's most important. And when you enter a trade, have a profit target in mind. Like if you're going to enter here, be like, okay, I'm long here. We'll ride this whatever volume up to, let's say, like a retest. Like if we can come back up here, or like if you're looking at the liquidations and you see there's some volume up there at 109.3, 109.2 back up here, then just go a little below it, so because a lot of the market makers will front run the liquidity and they won't quite hit it. They'll they will. Oh, of course, right when I click it, it goes away. Okay. So like 1093, 1094, right? But the market makers will either blow right through it and get all of the liquidity, or they won't always go right to the middle. So your target just needs to be like 109. Just go short just a little bit of it. So there's some good liquidity. It's a good target. And then you never want to just like open a trade and not have any kind of profit target in mind, because then you won't ever close it. You'll see it hit 109 and be like, it's going to 112 or it's going to 114, and you just won't close it. And then you'll see it hit 109 and then it'll like curl over and start coming down, and you'll start hitting those emotions like denial, and then you'll watch it just round trip all your profit that you just made, because the market won't leave open liquidity. Because this will change as it starts getting closer to some of these people that have resting liquidity up here, like stops, because that's what this is. These are stop losses, but they're liquidation levels. So that once they're hit, so people will start closing these out early once it starts creeping up, and they realize like, oh shit, the market's coming to my stop, and I'm just going to close it out early to preserve capital. But some people hold on to it and then they just like sweep it real quick. That's why you see those big sweeps, where it's just like dumps, because there was some liquidity down here and the market acted like it was going to come back up, like, oh, here, oh, everyone's trying to time the bottom, oh, and then it curl over, oh, it's going up, it's curled over, and then sweep, dump, same thing here, oh, it's going to come back up in reverse finally, a dump all the way down here. And so that's the rule. Have a profit target, and if it don't hit it, then don't be afraid to cut it early. Like if you need to, don't, if you have a stop loss, let's say you were entered long here, your stop loss is here. I like to color code mine. My white's my entry, orange is my sell loss. And then I'll set your sell loss right below the lowest low. Well, everyone does that. They'll set their sell loss just a little below here, and it just becomes stop hunted, just like here. Oh, stop hunted. Oh, stop hunted. This one probably bounce off this a little bit, stop hunted, come all the way down. And so don't move, don't be dumb and like, oh, I'm gonna move it just a little bit lower and try to get and then, because let's say it comes down, hits right above your sell loss, and then bounces, you can be like, oh, thank God, oh, it didn't hit, I'm so smart, and you build up this false sense of confidence, and then the market's like, bam, hits it anyways. Especially if you're leaving it overnight when you go to bed, because then 9 times out of 10 you're gonna wake up and your sell loss will be hit, and you realize a huge loss, like me. Wake up, realize a huge loss, and you're like, oh my God, I'm 2,000 down, and then you have to sit there and watch it all night to try to get your money back, and that's annoying. So never move your stop loss. If you set it here, then own it. Let it hit it, realize your $200 loss, and just let it be, if that's what it is. Or if you see it's coming down, then just close it out, if that's what you want to do. Sometimes it'll do this thing where it like this, came up, hit this, didn't really sweep the lower lows yet, and came back up, and it faked all these people out. And once you see it start chopping like this, it's just like easy to just like sell, because that's just them chopping up and faking out all the longs and shorts and eating up their like high leverage, like people that are like trading on 100x or 200x or whatever, 125x, they just get ate up right here, and then they dump it and sweep all the liquidity there too, and then they try to reset it and like, oh yeah, this is it, and then dump. So, or sometimes it's the opposite too. When we're more bullish, it does the same thing in the inverted chart. So that's the rule. Don't move your stop loss. Rule number 7, follow the rules. Always follow your rules. Anytime I've ever broken one of my rules, I've lost. And it's a painful reminder of why I have my rules. Stick to your original plan. Respect market structure. The market will never leave you a golden goose, because I've had perfect entries where I got the very bottom of the wick, and I'm like less like, well, I'm not one to let go of it, right? I'll be like, oh, it starts coming up, I've got the exact bottom, and then the market's like, boom, oh, boom, fuck your entry, right? Like, and so just remember, the market will never leave you a golden goose. Doesn't matter how good it is at the bottom of the wick, or and you get up through 3,000 in profit, just take it. It's very easy. Um, you can't outsmart the market, and you just need to remember that the market makers will not leave your golden position, because that's the longer it's open and the higher it goes in the opposite direction, the more they have to pay you. So they will manipulate. They will right here. They will $6.3 million sell. They will push it down, whatever they have to do to hit these liquidations, because these are other people's stop losses. Where this guy over here got in right here, and he's like, "Oh, got my golden goose, entered right at the bottom of this wick, boom, got all this profit, blah blah blah, went sideways, boom, got all this profit." But then the market, well, he didn't sell, right? Because he thinks it's going to keep going up to 3,200 up here. They're like, "Oh, it's going to keep going up." Right? So then he holds, but then the market's like, well, we have other liquidations down here that we can't leave behind. So we're going to come down here and sweep this lower liquidity before we run back up, or whatever the scenario is. And they'll stack, the market makers will stack their buy orders down here too. Oh shit. They'll stack their buy orders in. Man, that's a mess. Hold on a second. Right? And there's a lot of liquidity down here for them to sweep. Oh yeah, so this right here, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. That's a market maker pushing. They're pushing the price down, but they don't do it all on like one thing. They just do it all on like little tiny things to just create a red wall. And yeah, so you can definitely tell when they're trying to manipulate the price. And then they'll throw these out there too, 6.3, 6.3, to make it seem like it's gonna bounce here, but then they immediately follow up with 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. So they sell, they'll buy 10, but then sell 5 when they want to control. It's like a controlled drop, right? And then they'll have a bunch of buy orders just stacked up down here. So when it hits this price, because they're selling here, it just runs it right back up immediately. And they have their finger on the trigger ready to just sweep it all straight down to their buy orders. And then as soon as the price comes down and it creates panic, and then it breaks the structure, there's a panic sell-off, and it spikes down, fills their orders, sends it right back up. So they can buy it back cheaper and sell it to you up here for more, because that's how they make money. And that's my opinion on that. You need to have discipline over dopamine. That's another one of my rules. Precision over prediction. You want to be very precise on your entries and not just try to enter here in the chop. In my opinion, I call this chop suey. You do not want to enter anywhere in there. Let me get to a better chart. And my time frames, I try to stick anywhere between the 5 and 15 minute, and then the 1 hour and 4 hour. Sometimes I'll check all of these just to kind of see, these are my top all-time like time frames that I will just fluctuate between, make sure that I'm not missing any kind of spider line or like a higher time frame setup, where if it's like bearish on the higher time frame, when we were up here at 112, I wasn't really looking at the high time frames enough. I was so locked in on like the 5 and 15 minute, and I missed out on a good short up there. So yeah, you could see the divergence here. It was hitting lower highs and at 110, and it didn't break up here to 70 RSI, and then we just curled over. Now we're coming down here to the max fear zone. So trading is simple. You have to believe that trading is simple. Otherwise, thoughts and words are power. So if you believe trading is hard, it will continue to be hard for you. I just have like some affirmations where I'm like, I am a profitable trader, I am patient, I am confident, I am disciplined, I am precise. on a sticky note right next to my computer, and I look at it to remind myself that I need to be patient, confident, disciplined, precise, and then overall trading is simple, because it really can be when you are applying all of those at the same time. And hesitation is a missed opportunity. So that's another thing. If you have a plan, you shouldn't be hesitating. When you see the opportunity that you've been waiting a week for, then just take it. If it's coming down, hitting this, just enter and have your sell loss like a little below, a little below the structure, and if it hits it, it hits it. If not, and it goes in your direction, then even better. You have a plan for that too. Have an exit plan. Always have an exit plan if you're ever going to enter a trade, no matter where it's at. Even if you're entering short up here, you want to have an exit plan, even if it's 106, 105, 104. I'm going to exit right on this trend line or whatever, because you never know. It could have just bounced right here with this little fake out. Mini confirmation wasn't strong enough, so then bearish followed up with major sell orders and just pushed it below structure. And now we're seeing some lows. It might come down to the 103 area, and who knows? Run back up. I don't know. So I'm staying out until I can see and get confirmation and get a good liquidity sweep. We get a good liquidity sweep back up to 109. I might try to short there. I was going to short 110. I didn't. It just kind of got choppy up there. I didn't like the structure on it, so I stayed out. Always check the heat map. Always check the heat map before you enter. That you never know. These zones act as a magnet, and they will sweep it. Always just different coins. Not always different coins, but so for a while I was just sticking with one token. That way it was just easier for me to master one token versus trying to look at like 100 different coins and all these different charts that have like just different sentiment, right? Different hype, Pepe or Fart Coin. I do not trade those coins. Back in when Pepe first came out, I had bought like $500 worth under like $1 million market cap, and then it ran, my 500 turned into like $6,000, and so then I thought that was like a huge win, and I ended up taking it, and it only turned to like a 500 mil market cap, and I was like, oh, okay, that's some good profit, I'm just gonna take it, and then it ran up to like 10 billion market cap, and I missed out on like a yacht money. So sometimes, those tokens, they're just so unpredictable. You never really know. I'm grateful for like what I got. And I also lost my ass on some other coins in that season because, I thought every coin after that was going to be like a Pepe and just run up to 10 billion. And it was not the case. There was a lot of rugs that just came out. Devs would come out and just rug coins in seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, months. You never knew when they were going to do it. They could slow drip it down. Run it up. Get listed on blah, 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 Binance. And then they just start selling it off, like mass supplies of it. And they're gaslighting the community, sitting there saying like, we're pumping it up and, this and that. And it's just all gaslighting, fake narcissistic behavior. So I do not invest in those coins, any shit coins, meme coins, nothing. I didn't buy a single Trump coin. Or the Haktua coin, I didn't get sucked into that. I just strictly buy and like hold Bitcoin. You get like a ledger, and you just put 10% of your money, like your income. If you work at a normal job, you can easily put 10% of your paychecks in into your ledger very easily, and then you'll grow your capital over a long period of time. But today's trading video, I just wanted to be able to share with you guys some of my techniques, some of my charting rules that I've being able to apply and learn and figure out what works for me, and really just like finding a niche on like what kind of trades you want to take and just sticking to that niche. And how important journaling is, I do use a journal where I journal every single trade, and like winning or losing, I write down like why I entered that trade, what emotions I was feeling during that trade, what my entry was, my profit target, my sell loss. Was it an overnight trade, or did I enter at the New York Open or the London Open or Asia Open? You know, I have an I do stick to like an ICT session where I'm either trading New York, Asian, London, or like true afternoon, or even the true day, like at midnight. There's like where you can clearly see, you know, you could have opened a short right here on the true day, and it did print out some good profits here. And then just depending on what your profit target was, you know, if you were predicting a break of structure, then you know you got that target, and you know then you take it, because likely we'll come back up and retest, you know, true day, people that entered here or even a little higher back up here to true week, which is the 109 300, which is right where I showed that there was that liquidity resting, waiting for everyone to get short. They're all short right now, and their liquidations are right up there at the true week. And where'd it go? Load. It's not one to load very well right now, but I use a few different. This is why I use a few different ones, because sometimes these just like freeze and don't work very well. Lots of different indicators that you can use. This one shows the sessions, the New York session, Asia session, Sydney, Tokyo, London. It shows like where the price was when we opened, where we were when it closed, and then you can kind of predict patterns on which way they're gonna go. Key levels has been one of my most profitable entry points, is what I've used it for on the lower time frames. There's like the daily VWAP when we came up, like even today there was a daily VWAP entry right here, DVWAP 2605. We came up basically right to the New York Open. This ain't the best example, but the daily VWAP has been a good pivot point for a lot of trades. If you know the sentiment's going down, and you kind of wait for it to give you this as being the confirmation, and then you'd enter here, sell loss, you know, somewhere up here or above the either above the true day. So in case there's a true day or daily open sweep, you know, you would want to set your sell loss up there and then enter here. And then yeah, if it's just a few 100 points or 100 points away, then you just take the profit there, right? Get what you can get out of it. And there was a true month bounce. That was weekly low. We got a good bounce right on the true month for Ethereum. Previous support here before we bounced up. So that was probably a pretty good entry here that we just swept. So there was a lot of buy orders here that, yeah, right here. Big green candle that came out. Those are getting filled right now. Check it on the order blocks. Go to the 15-minute. See, it looks different on the 15-minute. What was I just on? 30? this is Bitcoin. Hold on. Okay. So we're still in this order block right here for Ethereum, and it bounced right on the true month. So that was actually probably a pretty good entry for that. If I would have been, trying to trade right now, I would have maybe had a small buy order here, just because we've seen some good volume and we're still in this bullish order block. So it would have been worth a try. Sell loss somewhere down here, just a little below it, and waiting for some good volume to come back up and retest up here at the DVWAP. 2606 would have been a good target price for me. I would have, entered here and just took profit here. I would even just move my this line here. It says partials, or I would have at least taken maybe half my position off right there, and if let the rest ride, or if it started to fail again, and then I would just close it to secure in as much capital as possible, or I move my sell loss up to break even, which is like right at my entry point. That way, if it does come all the way back down, to break even, I don't lose anything, and I already secured some partials. So that's the best advice I can give on stuff like that. That way, you don't want to ever really want to close the whole position out, because then if it continues to run way up, then you just it's hard to get that entry again, or it's just just almost a loss too when you take it here and then watch it just run up, and then you're like, oh my god, I should have left a runner, is what it's called, letting your good trades run, but you don't want to get greedy and not take any partials. So I'll be really moderate with my taking profit, and just close out half, and which is what I did here. I'd close out half right here, 0.5 of my one position that I opened here. At this one I closed just because I wasn't sure what it was going to do, and I didn't like the size of it. So, but my one that I opened at 25.80 on that dip that we got here, well, this is Bitcoin, but yeah, on this dip I closed out half of it and let the rest ride, and then I opened up another one when we dipped down to 26, and then I just closed it at 26.20, just the whole thing, just because it was I was up $20, I needed to secure some of it, and it was just to stack some capital. I had a feeling it was going to come back down, so I moved my sell loss to break even on the other half, and then it did do that. So then I didn't really lose much there, and then I was able to secure some profit. So that's my trading advice for today's video. I really hope you guys subscribe, and got some value out of this, and can learn from some of my mistakes that I've made, and I want to share my pain with you and show transparency, where being able to have my account really close to breach, and then but also I'm gonna make more videos when I can prove that I bring it all the way back up to 100,000. So just little by little, even if it's $20 at a time, I'm gonna bring my account back up, and then show you guys more payouts. 1,260 is just the beginning of this eval. I wish it showed my other eval, where in last year, before they updated this dashboard, I had a 10K payout, but they don't have it on here for some reason, but even though it's the same information. So that's today's video. I hope you guys got some good value out of this, and if you want to see my progress and watch me grow my win rate up, and learn some more from me as I go, I'm definitely going to be posting some more videos and talking more about Breakout, and it's been a great platform. The team has been really nice, and even in their emails, anytime I ever have a concern or an idea for new features, I send them my ideas for new features, and they've been really considerate about my ideas. And one of my ideas that I had was that they don't have yet is is the when you're entering in a trade, and then your protection orders, you have a sell loss, right? You set your sell loss, but then like once your trade's placed and your sell loss is here and you entered here and it's going up and you want to move your sell loss like into profit, it'll pop up and it just says 0 for your sell loss, and it doesn't give you a projected profit yet. So that's one feature that I do wish that they would change, and I know that's something that they will eventually. They've told me that they've added it to the features, but because of this platform that they use, DXTrade, they're not in control of the features on this. That they've sent in the request to have that added and updated, but it's just not been updated yet. So we're gonna see. But for today, that is today's video, and I hope you guys got good value out of this, and continue to wait for my next videos. Excuse me. And I hope you guys have a really good day, and stay confident, stay precise, patient, disciplined, and let trading be easy. Don't forget to breathe. Do a lot of breathing, man. Stay away from drugs, and just drink some tea. Drink some hot tea, drink some water, take a nice shower, touch some grass, be yourself, love yourself. It's so important. So, all right, have a good day, guys. Bye.